Clark thought about it. Good closeout by Coulier. 5 seconds. Clark driving, blocked by Coulier.
You know, you hear one of your players is being mentioned in a letter from members of Congress to the commissioner of the league. You know, how do you handle that?
Again, that's not something we can control. We're not affiliated with those groups, and we try to keep the main thing, and focus on the things that we can.
Everything you thought you knew about coaching loyalty in the WNBA? Time to face reality. Because cameras just caught Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White doing something truly unbelievable on the sideline while Caitlin Clark, her franchise player, was fighting through contact for a layup. This wasn't just a moment of frustration. It was a public display that has ignited an absolute firestorm online, exposing a pattern of behavior that goes way beyond a single missed shot. What she did, and what it really asterisk means for the future of the Fever, is far more damning than any highlight reel could ever show.
Bro, did y'all see this last night? Did y'all see? Boy, this was hilarious last night. So look at this picture right here. Look at this picture right here. This is Stephanie White. Stephanie White was, boy, I tell you, Caitlin Clark probably drives Stephanie White up the wall, boy. So this is Stephanie White. I saw this last night and I thought it was...
So here's the moment that sent shockwaves through the league. Caitlin Clark battling through defenders, driving hard to the basket, trying to put up points for a struggling offense. A sight we become all too familiar with this season. As the ball leaves her hands, as she's putting in that max effort, what does her coach, Stephanie White, do? She doesn't clap. She doesn't yell encouragement. She doesn't even make eye contact. Instead, clear as day, caught by multiple angles, White throws both her hands down toward the ground, a gesture that looked less like coaching and more like outright disgust, almost mocking the attempt itself. And get this, within hours, fans had slowed down the footage, zoomed in, and started circulating it everywhere. The internet exploded with outrage, confusion, and a deep sense of betrayal on behalf of a player who consistently gives everything for her team.
Over here will not get out of her own way. Listen, I love when the fans boo Stephanie White, because I've been telling y'all since the beginning of the season. When it comes to coaching, especially for the MVP, Caitlin Clark, the face of the league, she's trash. We all see the biases with Stephanie White. When those fans booed, the fans did the right thing. Don't stop there. Because when you do stuff like that and then you stop, what you accomplished only lasts for...
Think about that for a second. This isn't just a random sideline reaction to a tough miss. This is a head coach, the supposed leader of the locker room, the person who should be building up her players and fostering confidence, caught on camera essentially mimicking a missed shot from her best player. It's like she's saying, "Come on, that's not it," with her body language right there in front of a packed arena and a national television audience. You'd expect this kind of reaction for a struggling role player having an off night, maybe in a private film session. But for Caitlin Clark, the player who single-handedly carries the Indiana Fever's offense, who puts butts in seats, who drives the entire league's viewership, it's not just crazy. It's an absolute disaster for team morale, especially when she's the one consistently fighting through double teams and physical play just to keep them competitive.
Change the way you coach the game. You ever notice that in third quarter, fourth quarter? Does it ever impact the way you coach?
The fans?
Just the atmosphere, the voice that you have to project, any of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only time it really does is sometimes in timeouts. You know, really making sure that we get tight and we get in there and making sure that we can project that. I mean, look, when they're on the other end, they act like they don't hear me anyway.
But here's where it gets absolutely wild, because this isn't an isolated incident. This isn't just one bad moment caught out of context. This is a pattern. Remember back in May, during that blowout loss to the Portland Thorns? Cameras caught Stephanie White in a full-blown confrontation with Caitlin Clark on the sideline. Not a quiet word in a huddle, not a subtle coaching point, but a visibly heated exchange where White pulled Clark from the game early, subbing in a rookie guard, while Clark stood there, shaking her head, arms raised in disbelief, visibly frustrated. Teammates had to step in, physically calming the situation on the bench, just to prevent things from escalating further in plain view of everyone watching. That's not challenging a player. That's a coach picking a public fight with her franchise player, setting a toxic tone that has unfortunately followed this team all season long. It's an open display of conflict that fundamentally undermines the trust a star player needs from her coach.
I think that it's you got to have some signals. You got to have some awareness in dead ball situations of looking over if we're going to try to make some adjustments.
Now, White later tried to spin this, calling it coaching, saying she was simply holding Clark to a higher standard than everyone else on the roster. And look, accountability absolutely matters. Coaches challenge players, that's part of the job. But there's a universe of difference between a private, firm conversation after a timeout and publicly hooking your best player mid-possession, or displaying open frustration while she's still processing a play in real time. When Clark herself was asked about the Portland incident, she did what any loyal, high-character player would do. She brushed it off, called it two competitive people wanting to win, and defended her coach without hesitation. That loyalty, that willingness to take the high road and avoid throwing her coach under the bus, speaks volumes about Clark. But it also raises a critical question. Is that loyalty being reciprocated, or is it a one-way street in the Fever locker room? And that's the kicker. The loyalty here seems to flow primarily in one direction, because it's not just missed layups or sideline arguments that trigger this kind of reaction from White. We've seen a consistent pattern of Stephanie White failing to fully back Carrington Clark after some genuinely rough, borderline dangerous fouls this season. Moments where a coach's first, most primal instinct should be to jump to her star player's defense, to protect her, to go to bat for her publicly. Remember that stretch where Clark picked up a technical foul for merely making contact with an official while arguing a call? A call that, by the way, was eventually rescinded on review by the league. Instead of coming out swinging, defending her star in the moment it happened, White's public response was measured at best, almost hesitant. Compare that to the fiery energy and immediate outrage other coaches in this league display when their star players get touched wrong or officiated unfairly. The gap in urgency is not just noticeable, it's glaring, and it sends a profound message to Clark and every other player on that bench about who truly has their back.
Yeah, she intentionally seeked out the official.
Did that you were backwards to them? Did you know they were there in that moment?
And through the forearm. That too.
Did you know they were there? About that?
No.
Did they give
It's
you
really
a
bad.
different explanation of anything?
No, that's
Gave
what I
us
was
the
told.
same
That's what I was told. Yeah.
Was your tech for the argument?
My tech was for saying that, even though I heard the F-bomb the whole game. My tech was for saying that. Like that's a bad call. That's a bad call. Incidental contact when you're flying out of control, like on it. And I thought her teammates should have come up and talked to her about that as well. Like I think that's really bad. That happens all the time in the game. Officials have to have some awareness in those moments, and it didn't happen. Yes.
But wait, it gets worse. This isn't just a Caitlin Clark problem. The same pattern of questionable loyalty has played out with other key players, most notably with Sophie Cunningham. During a game against the Chicago Sky, Didn't Carrington delivered a flagrant 2 foul on Cunningham that got her immediately ejected. Plenty of analysts, fans, and even other players called it a dangerous and completely unnecessary hit. So what was Stephanie White's initial reaction after the game, when her player had just taken a potentially career-threatening blow? Not outrage, not fierce protection of her own roster. She actually went on record saying she didn't think Carrington intentionally went for Cunningham's neck, essentially defending the opponent's actions before even properly defending her own player. Cunningham herself, visibly shaken, later pointed out that White hadn't even bothered to see the replay clearly before making those comments publicly. Imagine getting hit that hard on national television, feeling betrayed by the officials, and then hearing your asterisk-own coach explain away the aggressor's intentions before bothering to watch the footage. That's a level of disconnect that can shatter a locker room.
Yes, sir. Push it. Sophie with the lay. Oh, shoot. Bruh. Uh-oh. Oh. Wow. She ain't like that at all. Bro, I need to see a replay, but that was a hard foul. All right. Across the face. Oh, shoot. What? That's almost a clothesline in the air. She didn't come close to hitting hand or ball. That's 100%. That could have been a way worse situation. Like, look at that. Come on now. Look at her leg. Like, she could have really got hurt. Yeah, Sophie wasn't thinking about fighting. Like, let's be real. She wasn't really finna fight. She wasn't making that. She wasn't finna make that move.
Has been upgraded to a flagrant foul, penalty 2.
Yeah, I'm like, if this ain't a flagrant 2, why she looking shocked?
Now, to be fair, White did eventually walk some of those comments back. A few days later, once the backlash started piling up online, once the clip of her defending Carrington had gone viral and the criticism reached a fever pitch, she came out with a much stronger statement. She called the foul on Cunningham egregious, used passionate language, and delivered a speech defending her relationship with her players, claiming she rides with them 10 toes down through everything, win or lose. She even talked about love winning and grace winning, telling critics to essentially move on and stop questioning her character. And yes, that deserves to be acknowledged. A strong statement is a strong statement. But here's the thing, a fiery, prepared press conference days later after the internet has already erupted doesn't erase the initial gut reaction. The instinct in the moment when your player needed you most is usually the most honest one. And in that crucial moment, White downplayed it, defended the aggressor, and left her own player exposed. That timing, that hesitation, speaks volumes about where her true priorities lie when the cameras are rolling and the pressure is on.
I mean, look, it was a hard foul. I don't think that Dejanay intentionally came out to get her across the neck like she did, but it did happen, and I thought it was the right call. But, you know, one of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul. But I also don't think that she intentionally went for the net.
So let's look at the pattern building here, not just over a few isolated incidents, but across an entire season of high-stakes WNBA basketball. Instead of being fully present, instead of offering unwavering support for her players in the moments that truly matter, whether it's a hard foul, a tough missed shot, a heated exchange on the sideline, or an unfair technical, Stephanie White keeps finding herself on the wrong side of these viral clips over and over again. These aren't just minor missteps. These are little moments that add up at an astonishing speed in a professional locker room, faster than most outsiders could ever comprehend. Players are hyper-aware. They notice when the person running the show reacts to a missed layup by throwing her hands down in what appears to be disgust, instead of offering a quick clap and getting her player back on defense with confidence and encouragement. That kind of body language, those subtle displays of frustration or disengagement, spread through a roster quietly. It's not a screaming match caught on a hot mic, but it chips away at morale, trust, and team cohesion one small, damning reaction at a time. And every single person on that bench sees it happen in real time, even if the broadcast cameras only catch it occasionally. The message is clear, even if it's unspoken.
Health and wellness, our player safety is always a top priority for me. One of the things I pride myself on is my relationships with players. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely. When you have a chance to watch that over and over and over on replay, you can see that. I didn't have that in real time. The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win. It won't win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their on the line. Every day. When they go low, we go high. Love will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
And here's what makes this whole situation even harder to make sense of when you step back and look at the full, undeniable picture. Caitlin Clark has been, without a shadow of a doubt, the single best, most impactful player on the Indiana Fever all season long. Full stop. There is no legitimate argument to be made otherwise. She's the one drawing sellout crowds on the road, turning every single game into a must-watch event, regardless of the opponent. She's the one moving the needle for TV ratings, shattering viewership records every single time her name appears on the schedule. She's the one who keeps this team competitive, sometimes single-handedly, on nights when the rest of the roster isn't clicking offensively. She's dealt with an unprecedented level of physical play, officiating scrutiny, and media pressure that most players in this league never have to even think about across an entire career, let alone their rookie season. And despite all of that, she keeps showing up, night after night, carrying an offensive load that leans on her more heavily than almost any other player in the entire sport right now. And this is how she gets treated by the very person who's supposed to be fully, unequivocally in her corner, every single possession of every single game. It's baffling, and frankly, it's disrespectful to the player who has fundamentally transformed the entire WNBA.
Good job of finding a way. Okay, really good job of finding a way. We started to expand that fist, and then we came back together. All right, that was really good stuff. Now, we know we got a lot of stuff that we got to work on, right? We know that. But being able to come away and withstand what we withstood in that run, and to be able to pull together, get some key stops, shot, see, hell yeah, see, great pass.
So I want you to picture this from Caitlin Clark's side for a second, because it's worth actually sitting with the emotional and psychological impact. She's out there, battling, fighting through contact, trying to make a crucial play at the rim, doing exactly what a franchise player is expected to do for her team in a tight, high-pressure moment. The game ends, she gets back to the locker room, and inevitably, someone sends her the footage that's already circulating online, blowing up her social media feed. She watches the clip on her own phone and sees her head coach, Stephanie White, on the sideline, throwing her hands down in a gesture that looks like mockery, like disappointment, instead of offering a clap of encouragement or a word of support, instead of getting her ready for the next possession. What is she supposed to think in that moment? What message does that send to a player who's giving her absolute all? That's not the reaction of someone who has your back unconditionally through the ups and downs of a long, grueling season. That's the reaction of someone acting more like a frustrated fan in the stands than a head coach standing beside her best player through adversity.
It wasn't pretty, okay? It wasn't pretty. We still got room for growth, a lot of room for growth, but great job getting the W on the road. You got that 3, 1, 2, 3.
Now, if we being honest, let's just keep it real. We can tell that play was drawn up for Kelsey Mitchell, man. It's just, which is silly, bro. And it's like y'all keep forcing it. They would rather lose a game if they can force it to Kelsey. And we can lose or win by the hands of Kelsey Mitchell. And that's why our team looked the way it has been.
Game, Caitlin got honored as the WNBA Player of the Year in the ESPYs. Just what does it mean to have her impact so far? I mean, there are a lot of really good players in this league, and she got honored as the best player in the league by the ESPYs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she continues to get new awards. She continues to break barriers. She continues to do things that we haven't seen before. I mean, you know, obviously you think about the Stewie's MVPs of the league, and you know, championship winners, and Asia's MVPs of the league and championship winners, and of course Sue Bird, who's sitting, you know, in the building today. And you know, Caitlin is so fortunate, as well as all these guys, really. I mean, that they don't know anything any different than the WNBA. Right, like they've seen their idols play. They work their asses off to get to where they are, and to be able to be honored, whether it's the ESPYs or whether it's league awards or whether it's All-Star or whatever. I just think they continue to then lead the way for the other young players.
Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark, little interaction here that seems like Caitlin Clark wasn't too happy with whatever was going on between her and the coaching staff tonight. You got Stephanie White doing the yapping that she does. Caitlin Clark doesn't want to hear it. Physically cringing. Look at this. Physically cringing, looking physically ill. Looking physically ill. Physically ill by whatever Stephanie White's saying. Like, damn, I'm tired of hearing this. But hey. Trying to run away. Stephanie White says, no, get over here. Get over here, Cece. Let me talk to you. Don't you walk away from me. Like, yeah, I'm walking away.
Stop. FIFA fans, Caitlin fans, this will never work. Them two being together will never work. If you feel like it will, then you need to stop being delusional. You need to stop being oblivious and all the other things, because it's not. And the main reason it's not is because Stephanie White has all the characteristics of a narcissist. She can clearly see, I need to go right because this will get me to where I need to go. But say, nah, I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna go this way. Like, it makes no sense. Fans, it's okay. You don't have to keep being nice when somebody else is not being nice. And Stephanie White has been a defender, the coach of the Fever. Get her out of there.
Get her out of there. Fire her ass today. I don't want her back on that bench. Stop defending the other players. Oh, she plays hard, DJ. That's just her being her. You see Caitlin in the press conference almost cover her ears and her eyes. Defend your players. First of all, you're wrong. It was a dirty play. She's gone. But when do you ever see in like the NBA a coach not defend their own players? She hasn't done it with Caitlin when Caitlin got punched in the throat. She didn't do it. I don't care if you agree with it or not. You're wrong. But it starts to make me think you care more about the overlying social issues and not pissing off other people in the league and saying men can play league, because she's one of those players. Coaches, when asked, always is taking the far left side of it. This isn't politics. Your player got assaulted. Defend your player in the press conference. Be like, yeah, that was a dirty play. She should have hit the showers. She acts like she's the coach of the other team. I don't care if she's the best X's and O's when she's not. Get her the hell out of there.